Get 6 months of limited access to local news for just $2 when you subscribe today. This price won't last long, so lock it in now at duluthnewstribune.com. That's duluthnewstribune.com for 6 months of local news for just $2. Hello Northlanders, it's Friday, March 17th. I'm Wyatt Buckner with your Duluth News Tribune Minute, presented by Minnesota Power Employees Credit Union.
The average MPECU member saves over $785 a year in better rates and lower fees. And with MPECU, every ATM is your ATM. With their free checking program, you get ATM fee reimbursements at any ATM anywhere in the U.S. Check out Minnesota Power Employees Credit Union services online at mpecu.com or visit their offices in downtown Duluth, Arrowhead Road, or Miller Trunk Highway.
It's Friday, and if you're looking for some fun weekend ideas, Duluth News Tribune arts and entertainment reporter Jay Gabler has some options in this week's Best Bets.
Happy St. Patrick's Day. I'm only 1/16th Irish, but I think we're all 100% Irish for this most festive of March days, and it's a Friday, and so it's apt to be a pretty celebratory day here in Duluth and in the Northland. This week's Best Bets is devoted entirely to St. Patrick's Day events. There's more things happening, of course, in the Northland this week, but boy, just covering everything happening today and into tomorrow morning in the Northland here on St. Patrick's Day is more than enough to fill this week's Best Bets. If you're interested in food, there's Irish fare at the Dublin, Sir Benedict's Tavern on the Lake, Blackwood's Grill and Bar, Tavern on the Hill. Some of those places are also going to have green beer, if that is what you're into. I've actually never tried it, so let me know how it is if you give it a shot. Exercise may not be the first thing you think of when you think of St. Patrick's Day, but if you do want to get moving and shake off some of that snow on your shoulders, you can head to Duluth's Full Circle Yoga, where they're having a special St. Patrick's Day themed yoga flow this afternoon. Over in Superior at World of Wheels Skate Center, there's going to be a St. Patrick's Day themed skate, and there's going to be a night of traditional Gaelic folk dancing tonight at St. Paul's Episcopal Church in Duluth. And if you are still ready to run tomorrow morning, there's the annual St. Fantasy 4K, both kicking off and ending at Skyline Social and Games in Hermantown. So if that's your thing, you can party or at least enjoy all the fun there at Skyline before and after the run. If you're into music, well, tonight at Sacred Heart Music Center, there's a Willow Green concert for some very traditional Irish fare. And at RT Quinlan's, there's going to be a Mosh of the Irish night. So you want to do some headbanging on St. Patrick's Day, there's your opportunity. There will also be live music at venues including the Gopher Bar and Grill in Spirit Valley and the Cedar Lounge in Superior. Well, parties. Yes, parties. If you want to get out and party, there are no end of opportunities. There's a huge bar crawl happening spanning 2 days in downtown Duluth. There's a shamrock and good time promised by the Blackwater Lounge, which is hosting a DJ tonight. There's other parties happening at Mr. D's in Spirit Valley, over in Superior at The Shack, Superior Tavern, Tower Avenue Tavern, and this caught my attention. There's a new venue in Duluth called Berg. It's going to host monthly Zodiac parties, so, well, that means that party tonight will be a Pisces party, and revenue, according to organizers, will help support the Berg after the tragic passing of co-owner Robert Wagner. Well, that's just the tip of the iceberg regarding all the stuff happening tonight, St. Patrick's Day in Duluth and Superior. For details on all these events, check out duluthnewstribune.com. I'm Jay Gabler.
Now here's a look at today's headlines. The final pieces of the proposed jigsaw development in the Duluth Heights neighborhood are finally coming together. The city's planning commission granted a special use permit Tuesday allowing for another restaurant and drive-through coffee kiosk to go up next door to a previously approved Popeyes restaurant and an independent car wash. Dan Terwilliger, Director of Development for Launch Properties, said he expects construction of the 2,265 square foot Popeyes and a separate freestanding car wash to begin this spring at the intersection of Anderson Road and Central Entrance, opposite the Residence Inn. Just to the west, Launch also plans a 6,010 square foot building that will be home to an aesthetic studio and a yet-to-be-revealed restaurant. While Terwilliger said it would be premature to name the future restaurant tenant, he described the business as a quick-serve salad concept operation. And still to the west, a 660-square-foot coffee kiosk with a drive-thru is expected to join the scene. Terwilliger said he was not yet at liberty to reveal the identity of that independent business. Access to the development will be provided via a right-in, right-out drive onto Central Entrance and via a separate drive connected to Anderson Road. A Brookston man who was convicted of rape last week died early Thursday, nearly a week after a suicide attempt at the St. Louis County Jail in Duluth. John Gregory Mayo, 60, died at Essentia Health St. Mary's Medical Center in Duluth at approximately 2:30 a.m., according to Sheriff Gordon Ramsey. Gail Mullery, the mother of Mayo's children, said he had been taken off life support after he was found unresponsive in his jail cell Friday. She claims the jail should have had Mayo on suicide watch because he was facing up to 30 years in prison. Ramsey, though, said there hadn't been any concerns raised about Mayo's mental health and that he requested to be in general population. He said staff immediately began life-saving efforts and called 911. Mayo was found guilty March 7th of first and third-degree criminal sexual conduct, along with making threats of violence, in the December 20th, 2018 assault at his home along County Highway 31. He had been free on bond since 2019, shortly after he was first charged, but Judge Eric Howden ordered him into custody pending sentencing. With Mayo having an extensive criminal history and his top conviction carrying up to 30 years, it was expected he could face what would essentially amount to a life sentence. Ramsey confirmed that the inmate was found hanging during a routine well-being check at approximately 9:30 a.m. Friday, less than 3 days after he was convicted. Mullery said she was told staff had been conducting regular 20-minute checks, and that Mayo was up and moving around before he was found unresponsive and not breathing. She said staff took him down and tried to revive him, but his heart was stopped and took about 20 minutes to get going again, likely leaving him with severe brain damage. Ramsey said inmates are asked whether they are suicidal and are screened for potential signs that could place them under a more intensive watch schedule. Mayo had been found guilty of raping a woman who had been house-sitting for him. The verdict came more than 4 years after Mayo was first charged, with records indicating the case has weathered delays related to attorney changes, the pandemic, and litigation regarding the admissibility of evidence at trial. Duluth's Miller Hill Mall may reopen in sections. City administrators declared the mall unsafe to occupy shortly after a portion of its roof collapsed Tuesday. For the city to deem it safe again and allow normal operations to resume, Simon Property Group, which owns the mall, must shore up the roof and complete an analysis of it, as well as restore fire alarms, sprinkler systems, and other safety systems. The mall's owners hope to have all that work done in phases, getting the city sign-off for, say, a quarter of the building at a time, according to Blake Nelson, Duluth's building official. The earliest the city could allow a section of the mall to reopen would be once Nelson is notified that it's ready for those safety systems to be inspected, he said. That inspection could happen as soon as today, but a snowstorm was expected to complicate matters. And the city's permission, if or when it's given, doesn't mean the mall can or will open. Nelson stressed that is up to Simon Property Group. Leaders at Essentia Health, who maintain services at the mall, were awaiting a decision today about a potential weekend reopening for the hospital's Center for Personal Fitness there. Tony Matt, an Essentia spokesperson, said Thursday afternoon. Essentia's facilities there will remain closed today. Now here's a look at your forecast, brought to you by the News Tribune's Northlandia podcast.
This weather forecast for the Duluth area, periods of snow today, mostly in the afternoon. It's not going to be as heavy as it was yesterday evening and last night in the Duluth area. It will be a strong northwest wind, though, around 20 to 30 miles an hour with higher gusts. And that wind will be out of the northwest, meaning there could be a few spots to pick up a little lake effect, mostly on the Wisconsin shoreline. For Friday night, snow likely, another half an inch or so in the Duluth Harbor area, maybe a few spots to get a bit more, and continued blustery with winds going northerly at around 15 to 25 and gusty, putting all of the lake effect down on the Wisconsin side. The weekend will continue to be blustery at times, high temperatures in the 20s, low temperatures down in the single digits. I'm Storm Tracker meteorologist John Wheeler.
Thank you to the Northlandia podcast for their support. The weekly podcast explores curious and unique stories here in the Northland. Whether it's a look inside the Northern Rail train car inn, or an introduction to Duluth's musical roboticist, Robot Rickshaw, each episode celebrates the region's distinctive people, places, and history. You can find the latest episode of Northlandia at duluthnewstribune.news or wherever you also get this podcast. Reporting for today's episode was done by Peter Passy, Tom Olson, and Joe Bowen. Thank you for listening to Duluth News Tribune Minute. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you back here on Monday.